Hey, this is Step Amit. Welcome to my Exorcism.io series. In this video, I'll be working through the accumulate exercise from the Ruby track. So what they want us to do here is basically they want us to implement map or collect. We're calling it accumulate, the accumulate operation, which when given a collection and an operation to perform on each element returns a new collection containing the result of applying that operation to each element of the input collection. So we have this collection of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have an operation square a number here. Where you take the element and you square it, you should get back 1, 4, 9, 16, and 25. You see, it's an array of the same length or a collection of the same length, and this operation has been performed on each element of the original collection, and that is what is in that place in the new collection. Does that make sense? Okay, and we are not allowed to use built-in map, collect, fmap, or whatever, which makes sense because that's what we're being asked to implement. And then there's this advanced case here where it says it's typical to call to enum when defining methods for generic enumerable in case no block is passed. And so I'm going to grab this test because I think I'm going to want to do this as well. This is pretty straightforward. So actually, I need to grab this before I grab that and actually pull down the exercise. I'm going to go ahead and grab that additional test, and I will drop it here in the bottom. Okay, and it looks like we're gonna implement this directly in our collection. In this case, array. Open up my testing pane. Let me copy the rake file here so that I can run my tests. The test will of course fail because I don't have an accumulate.rb file. So let me open that up. Swap my panes here. So there is no accumulate method defined for array. So that's the first thing we're going to do is open up array and define accumulate, which of course here is going to fail because it's expecting us to return an array. And I can just do that right now to get past this first test and go ahead and comment out the skip for the second test, accumulate squares. So the way this is going to work, we've got an array. We're going to an array here. The test is going to call accumulate and give it a block that gives it number times number, and then and we have to return a new array that calls this operation on each element. Of course, this is going to fail because we're returning an empty array. But this is pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple to do. What I want to do is I want to create a new result array because we don't want to modify the same array. We want to return a new array. And then what I want to do is for each element in self, I want to add something to my result array, because when you're doing a map operation like this, or an accumulate operation like this, your resulting array that you return has to be the same length as the original array. And then what you want to put in each element is whatever the block that you've been given tells you to do. So in Ruby, the way we call a block that's been given to our method is we yield. And in this case, what we want to do is we want to yield our element to the block. And then of course so each element will be passed to our block, and whatever that block returns will be added to our array. And we want to simply return our resulting array, and that will work. And so I think all of these tests, except for the last one, should just work. Accumulate upcases. Yep. That's fine. Accumulate reverse strings. Yep. We don't care what the block does. Accumulate recursively. Sure. Test do not change in place, right? We are not changing the original array. We are creating a new array and returning it. Accumulate when block is deferred. So this will now fail. This is the bonus case we have to take into account. And if you remember what they said here, it's typical to call toEnum when defining methods for a generic enumerable in case no block is passed. So if there's no block, then we simply want to return self.toEnum. And so the way that we're going to do that is we're going to have a guard clause here at the beginning. We're going to return self.toEnum unless block given A. And that's what we need to do. All right, cool. That's it. Go ahead and submit this. And I'll see you in the next video.